So on the heels of the pro se Sarah Boone trial that's coming up soon, I just want to get a feel for pro se defendants who represent themselves. We had Daryl Brooks, we had Ronnie O'Neal, we had that Franklin guy, the bald head guy who allegedly killed somebody at the treehouse. We have all these people, and we have one more that we should cover before the Sarah Boone case, and that is Trevor Summers. Just by saying the word Trevor Summers, for some reason YouTube tries to demonetize the video immediately. I don't know why he's such a horrid person, but it's crazy. So we're jumping straight into it. This time, we're going through the cross-examination that he has personally with his wife. I always feel like there should be a specific rule in law to where a spouse or a significant other cannot question another, because I feel like that's a conflict of interest, right? Like your ex-husband is going to question you because he decided to represent himself. That just sounds insane to me. Because most of the times, like Daryl Brooks, like Ronnie O'Neal, they try to make their spouse or their significant other look bad. And it's just a whole back and forth of berating and causing a lot of discomfort for the victim. So we're going to go ahead and check this out. You guys let me know what you think. Do you think this is something that should be allowed in court in general? And I know we're waiting for this Boone trial, man. Hold tight. We're almost there.
I woke up at 3 a.m.
You woke up at 3 a.m. and you said that you were woken by water droplets.
Yes.
Okay. So that was the first moment you were woken up by water droplets.
Yes.
Okay. And you said it was dark in your room?
Yes.
How dark was it?
The only light was coming from my digital clock. Very dark.
Was that enough light to see a figure standing in a certain position in your room?
Yes.
Bro was trying to say it was too dark for her to know there was somebody in there. Like, come on, bro. Your eyes fucking lock in when you're in the dark. Come on now. Especially if you know your house, bro. If there's a clump of human mass in the fucking corner, I think I'm gonna know. Excuse me. I think I'm gonna know. So, yeah. It's not a good argument. What is this argument so far, folks? What do you think?
I believe your testimony was that this screen was not there prior to my arrival.
We're prepping ourselves for Sarah Boone, some pro se. I'm just getting some pro se in, trying to see how shitty it's gonna get.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Do you believe that you put that screen there?
No.
Do you believe? So you don't know who put that screen there?
No.
Okay.
Can't imagine the hell it was to be married to him, bro. It was probably some World War shit, some Civil War shit in that house. And she don't seem like a pushover either. And he don't seem like a pushover. So two of them were just like, just for years. I bet for 19 years, it was the WWE. It was WrestleMania in that fucking house.
Picture of the playground in the backyard?
Yes.
And did the children use that frequently?
Yes.
And on the evening that the children were there, do you recall where you, Brandon, Grady, and Arden were sitting?
At what point?
On the evening of March 10th, when they were with you?
He still has stupid questions like Brooks that goes nowhere. That's what I'm kind of waiting for. I'm waiting for where he's going. Like, I'm all for you having a point, which is why I enjoyed the trial with the treehouse murderer guy. I keep forgetting his name. I can't remember his name right now, but it's the bald guy, earrings, tattoos, looked like he was a rocker type guy in his past. You guys know the treehouse murder. He actually was making points and trying, so I respected that. But most of these guys, they come up here pro se, and it's like they ask questions. They ask questions. I need to go to speech therapy. They ask questions. Shit. And it's almost like, bro, are you really just up here to kill time? That's what it feels like. Feels like you're just killing time before you go to jail. And that's what, I don't know. It's too early on right now, but it's kind of starting to feel that way.
We were sleeping in the master bedroom, me, Bryn, and Grady.
Sorry, let me clarify for you. On the evening of March 10th, when the children were with you in the living room, can you tell me where everyone was sitting?
I was in the middle on the closest couch. I was in the middle of Bryn and Grady, and Arden was on the love seat.
Can you tell me what is on that desk against the wall?
A computer,
Anything else?
a sweater, papers.
Did that computer have internet service?
Yes.
Is there any kind of internet feed or cable feed on that wall?
I do. Not that I know.
Not that you know of?
No. It was Wi-Fi.
Photograph A22, set one, may I publish? In this photograph, do you see any cable or internet feed or router?
The router over in the left corner.
Okay.
Because so my brain is firing off when he's asking these questions. Maybe he's saying like, oh, she could have called for help. Oh, you have, I don't know, you have a life alert or some shit when your heart goes up and the internet would have pinged the police. I don't know what he's gonna say, you know. But if it's just like, oh, did you see the internet? Oh, did you see the sweater? Do you know why the screen was there? Did you move it? Do you know who moved it? Like, okay, what? So far, that's what we've asked. There's like 3 main questions. Window moved, sweater there, internet there. The fuck are we doing?
Do you know if you can hook a telephone to that router?
That's not where I hooked my telephone.
I'm not asking where. I'm just asking if you can.
You can.
Miss Mathewson, in this photograph is a picture of is it the garage door?
Yes.
The front door?
Front door.
Is the key hook there?
Yes.
It's a hook, I guess, a placard that you let keys hang on.
Yes.
Do you know what key is still hanging on that hook?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay, we'll see if we can find a better photograph of that. The walls look pretty clean and intact.
Yes.
Mrs. Mathewson, is this a picture of your garage?
Yes.
Is this the condition it was in when you left the home that evening, when you went to bed that evening?
Yes.
And can you identify some of the things that are in the garage here?
What?
Bins and boxes and things that I haven't put away in my home or storage.
Okay.
Everything but a car. Where the fuck is the car? This would be a nightmare if you wanted to park your car in here. Fuck. You have to move all that shit. Hell no.
Mathewson, you said that your testimony is this was a toolkit that you had kept, and this was in the same location as it was when you went to sleep that night?
As far as I'm aware, it was normally kept in that general area on the washer or the dryer or the shelf, but yeah, I believe it was there.
Ms. Mathewson, what is this a photograph of?
That's my kitchen.
This is your kitchen. And do you see anything out of order, out of place?
No?
Ms. Mathewson, is this another picture of you into the kitchen?
Yes.
And those things sitting on the countertop there, are they in the same place that they were when you left that evening? When you went to sleep that evening?
I believe so.
Okay. They're not disorganized or thrown around or anything like that?
No.
No. Did you have any struggle near this location?
Near that location.
As you can see, the tissue box is neatly placed on the end table. Would you agree?
Yes.
There are hangers on the bed. Do you know what those hangers were for?
I don't recall.
The pajamas on the bed, those are the pajamas you had on before you changed?
I can't tell from this picture.
It is a gray piece of fabric and a pink piece of that. Is a
Somebody said so nice and neat. I mean, it doesn't seem fucked up. It seems like somebody quickly jumped out of bed is what it seems like to me, or got yanked out of bed quickly. That is grainy than a bitch.
Miss Mathewson, if you look at that windowsill, do you see the staining on it, the dirt on it?
Okay. I see a windowsill, but I can't tell what is on that
Do
windowsill.
you see any discoloration here?
Sure, there's discoloration.
No. Could that be from the children going in and out of that window?
They were not permitted to go in and out of that window. If they went in and out of that window, they were told they had to go through the front door and around to the backyard.
Okay. Thank you. Do you remember approximately how long we were in the living room?
Approximately 3 hours.
Approximately 3 hours, okay. And in that time in the living room, have you described in any prior testimony it as wrestling?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall 3 hours? It's a lot of talking.
Wait, what did he say about?
Um,
I'm sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. Let me back it up.
have you described in any prior testimony it as wrestling?
Yes.
Have you described it in previous testimony as wrestling? What?
Okay. Do you recall 3 hours? It's a lot of talking. Other than just your comments about going into some boats or offshore, do you recall what other things we were talking about for 3 hours?
There wasn't talking going on at this point. There was fighting, wrestling, me trying to get free and out of the house.
And did those photographs depict the kind of wrestling and fighting and that you're talking about?
To me, they did.
They did?
Yes.
Okay.
Honestly, let's be real. The house looked fucked up, but a struggle, you could easily say there was a struggle in there. The shit was all over the place. Now, so this is why he did that with the pictures. He's trying to prove that the house is junky anyway, and that there's no proof that there was a struggle, and that he came into the house somehow she was cool with it, and now she's trying to lie about it. That's what I think he's trying to say. Because that's why he went through all those pictures, and he was like, oh, well, was this like that before you went to sleep? Was this like that before you went to sleep? All that. So he goes through all these pictures, and he's like, is this like this before you went to sleep? This is how the house looked. He's trying to make it seem like the house has no proof of a struggle, and that he indeed did not struggle with her. And it's not kidnapping. But that's what it sounds like. But at least I feel like he's working towards a point, because at first it felt like he didn't have any direction. Good call. I think Elsie said that. Good call.
Do you recall our son Landon coming to the front door?
I recall knowing that Landon was there and him being in the vicinity of the front door.
Okay. Do you remember if you or I opened the door for him?
I don't recall.
How dark was it in that living room?
It was very dark.
Could you see my face?
As it got lighter, but at 3 a.m. I couldn't. I just knew it was you.
Okay. Well, I believe that you testified that the children left the home around 5:30 that morning. Is that correct?
Approximately.
Okay. So that brings it closer to 2.5 hours. The children, if they left at 5:30, do you believe that the sun was coming out at that point?
It was winter, not... That weekend was when daylight savings would have happened. We had not gone into the daylight savings yet, so I don't recall.
So you're just agreeing it was very dark in that living room?
Yes.
Okay. And, but you don't remember all the things we were talking about. You thought we were fighting, wrestling, that kind of stuff for most of that time?
Yes.
And is that where you sustained some of the bruises,
Yes.
some of the scratches?
Yes.
Okay. So you think most of the injuries that were photographed happened in that living room?
Some happened in that living room, some happened through other moments of the events.
I think like she might be traumatized, Melody, or all of that. All of that might be true, but I think she's specifically not looking at him because of the disrespect. She's strictly doing it off disrespect and hatred, which I don't blame her for. But I don't think she's so like, oh my God, I'm gonna break down if I look at him. No, fuck that. I don't think so. Nah. She's not looking at him as a sign of pure disrespect. She told herself she's not gonna look at him one time. That's what I think it is. I don't think she's so spooky to where she can't look at him. You know what I mean? Like, she's doing that because she knows that'll irritate him. She knows how to push his buttons. 19 years, this is the main thing that pushes his buttons. So she's going to do it. It's going to make it harder for him to keep his composure. Look at me when I'm fucking talking to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, she knows what pushes his buttons.
It was your testimony that you saw scarves wrapped around my body in the living room?
Tied to your belt loops.
Tied to my belt loops. And they couldn't have come from your closet?
Those scarves were not at my new home.
Okay. So you didn't notice them at any other time until we were in a dark living room?
Yes.
And you could discern in that darkness the colors of peach, pink, and white?
I could not see the colors at that time.
It was your prior testimony that you noticed the colors. You stated the colors.
I know that they are those colors because you used them to tie me up after the struggle, so I know what colors they were.
Okay.
I like how she took her time to explain how he is a fucking moron. That's fucking hilarious.
Let me ask you, Mrs. Matheson, do we ever use scarves intimately?
Objection, Judge?
Legal basis.
Your Honor, it goes to...
She can answer the question.
Okay.
Oh. I do not recall ever using scarves intimately.
In 16 years of marriage, did we ever go beyond just regular intercourse?
Objection, Judge. Relevance.
Hold on, don't respond. I'm gonna allow it, overruled.
Mr. Matheson, you may answer.
I was a teenager when I began dating you.
I'm sorry, can you answer the question?
I'm answering
Wait.
the question.
Wait, don't cut her off.
I'm sorry.
But unless you intended to narrow the scope.
I just didn't want to get into the history that she's starting out with. I did want to just ask
Well, do you have
during
a
our
specific?
marriage.
Do you have a more specific question?
I asked during our marriage. I didn't ask about her teenage years. She started out with her teenage years. I asked about our marriage. Did we do more than just regular intercourse?
Well, do you have a more specific question than? I mean, that's a broad more than. You have a specific question during the marriage?
Okay, I can be specific. Did we, during our marriage, use peripheral objects?
What are peripheral objects? Like other objects, things in the room? Oh my God. Everybody uses that shit. What's the point of saying that?
In our sexual activity?
More in the early marriage, prior to having 5 children.
Okay. Did we get more adventurous in our sexual habits?
Judge, I'm going to object.
And the legal basis is
Relevance.
sustained.
Did we ever did we ever use scarves or strings or anything to as part of our sexual encounters from time to time?
I don't recall a single instance. I don't recall any.
Okay. But you do recall us using a variety of quote-unquote toys and things of that nature.
Judge, I'm going to object to
Sustained as to
relevance.
relevance.
Well, I'll move on. It was your testimony that we were in the living room when Arden came into the home. Is
Yes.
that correct? Is there any chance that you might be mistaken and we were in your bedroom when Arden came into the home?
The way I remember it is I was in the living room.
Do you recall possibly sitting on your bed when Arden came into the home?
Objection, Judge, asked and answered.
Not this specific question, only if you know.
Oh, I don't. What was the question?
Do you remember if you were sitting on your bed when Arden came into the room?
The way I recall it is I was sitting in the living room.
Okay. And when Arden came in, did you say anything to Arden?
No.
What's
Did
up,
you look at
Karen?
Arden?
I think I did shout you out, honestly.
I looked at her. She did not look at me.
Did you say anything to the two younger children?
No.
How long was Arden in the home?
A few moments.
A few moments as in seconds, minutes?
Enough time to get the children and leave.
Did she take anything with her?
I have no idea if she took anything with her.
Did Arden leave peacefully?
Yes.
Okay. Do you believe that if there was some problem, Arden would have spoken up?
Objection, Judge, speculation.
Sustained.
Okay. Okay. We'll go forward. After Arden left, was I on my telephone?
I have no idea.
Do you know if I was communicating with Arden while she drove to my house?
At the time, I had no idea she drove to your house.
Okay. While she was, right after she left, what did we do?
You tied me up.
Before she left? After she left?
After she left, you tied me up
Where?
in my bed.
In your bed. And you said this was with string. You said
See, she's trying to not get emotional.
Christmas lights. And you said a vacuum cleaner.
Yes.
Okay. So
What's up, warrior woman?
it was. How did I go get the Christmas lights?
I was already tied with the scarf and the string. Then you left and went and got the Christmas lights
So I left the room to go get Christmas lights.
while I was tied up.
And there were other items you saw in the room that probably would have been easier than going out to your garage to get Christmas
Objection,
lights.
Judge, speculation.
Sustained as to speculation.
So he was trying to say that they were that this whole thing was some kinky, rough sex that went wrong. Is that what he's trying to say? The whole breaking into the house was just some type of little fetish, a little fantasy she wanted, and then she got mad about it and accused him. What are we talking about? Because the only, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what? I'm trying to understand where he's trying to. Nobody normal. This doesn't make sense. This isn't a normal thing. Nobody's gonna believe that. Like she wanted to, and then he tries to say, and you described it as wrestling. Did you not? Did we use scarves sexually in the past? Wasn't this just another sexual encounter that we like to do? Aren't we just like, don't we like to just do little weird things? Come on, bro. That shit, it's not gonna work. Try again, sir. Please come again.
Let me ask you this, Ms. Mathewson. What is the time frame between when Arden left and there were videos made on your telephone?
About 5:30, 6 o'clock she left. The videos happened when I was first hogtied, which would be approximately 11 o'clock. 6, I'm trying to do the math while I'm thinking. It's 5 hours.
5 hours? Okay. What did we talk about for 5 hours?
I didn't do much talking. You can go on and on and on about random nonsense, and it's incoherent nonsense, but you can just go on about it.
Okay.
That stung him. It's so fucking hilarious. He looks at the judge. He looks directly at the judge. Okay. Oh, that burned, didn't it? You couldn't blow up at her and call her a slut and a bitch and all the other things you want to call her, huh? Look at how he looks at the judge.
And on about random nonsense, and it's incoherent nonsense, but you can just go on about it.
Look at how he looks.
Okay.
Okay. With your feminine ass. Feminine. He's so feminine. Okay. Like a sassy bitch. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Do you remember specifically what incoherent nonsense I was talking about?
Chartering a boat, money in offshore accounts, going to the island, having a bodyguard to watch me, your parents' involvement, our children, what happened through the marriage. There's many topics that you could go on for hours about.
Do you remember speaking to me about any offshore accounts? Do you remember questioning me about offshore accounts?
You want to talk about the offshore accounts?
Did you question me about where they are?
There are 2 reasons why I would believe that you had offshore accounts. 2 reasons.
I'm just asking right now if you asked me where those offshore accounts were.
Judge, we're going to need to approach.
I really don't think it's that big of a deal, honestly. It's more damning to him than anybody.
You want to know whether she asked you about them, yes or no. What Ms. Johnson has suggested, if she says no, then that leaves open the opportunity and the question on redirect as to why didn't you ask him? And if the reason that she didn't is the basis of a motion in limine that stuff she wasn't supposed to talk about, you've opened that door.
Well, I think, Your Honor, we just put the idea in her head about that. That's not the basis of this question.
Well, I mean, she's under oath to answer truthfully, and the question you want answered right now is yes or no, did she ask you? And I'm going to allow it. You proceed at your own risk as to whether you open any doors. You understand that?
Yes.
All right.
Judge, we do also, I want to put on the record, I know Your Honor had mentioned yesterday that if we do not finish, the state had planned on resting Thursday. We are doing everything to move as quickly as we can. We are eliminating some of our witnesses that are not absolutely necessary to prove our charges.
That's good.
And we have serious concerns based upon the number of continuances that this defendant has filed in this case, that He does not want this case to go to a jury. And now that you have made that comment, that it is the state's serious concern that he is going to do anything and everything he can to prolong this case.